have Asheebo Rojas from the Chatham News Record. It's our weekly ChathamNC Sports Roundup. What you see up there is what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about football, high school volleyball. We're going to talk about that. 3 Chatham County teams are playing the third round, so they're in the Sweet 16. Those games are this evening. Also going to talk to Asheebo, see what he's got coming up in the Chatham News and Record, and also his athlete of the week. Then we're going to touch on high school soccer. Let's take a look as to which teams are going to be going to the playoffs. We'll touch on the cross-country regionals. Also, Asheebo's got coming up in the paper a basketball, Chatham County high school basketball preview coming up. So we're going to touch on that, and then we'll finish up and wrap up. And Asheebo will let you know where he's going to be for the rest of the week. So let me get out of here, and we will be going live with both our beautiful faces in just a second as soon as I turn off the – there we go. Boom. We're going to hide that, and we should be coming. There we go. There's Asheebo over there, and that's me. All right. Asheebo, let's start off with football. Let's talk about last week. Let's talk about this week. What can you say about last week?
Yeah, so starting off with Northwood and Chatham Central, that was one of our Chatham County matchups. We had 2 last week, and in that one, Northwood was just too much for Chatham Central. They won over them 55-6. And then the sophomore Grayson Cox for Northwood, he got to start again as Carson Fortress. He's resting up to gear up for the playoffs. And Cox had another great night. He threw for 340 yards and tied the school record with 6 passing touchdowns. Isaiah Blair, Gus Ritchie had big nights receiving. They had 100 yards receiving each. Blair also tied the school record. He caught 3 touchdowns, and Ritchie caught 2 himself. So very productive night from the Northwood offense. And then also the defense came to play as well in that one. You know, they got, I think, 3 interceptions in that one. I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3 interceptions. One of them was taken back for a touchdown by Justice Shaw. So just an all-around great night for Northwood there as they get ready to go into their bye week this week. They're not playing this Friday. They're preparing for the playoffs next Friday. So for the first round, and we'll see where they land after tomorrow and all the games get finished up. And then in the other game we had JM Jordan Matthews hosting Seaford, and Seaford, they came out on top on this one. It started a little slow, and Jordan Matthews kind of jumped on them defensively, and forcing them into tough situations, 3rd and 4th and longs. Penalties also hurt Seaford early on. There's just some mistakes from Seaford as well as fumbles and things like that. Got them kind of starting off on the wrong found a way and pulled out a 26-7 victory. In that one, not too much offense from Seaforth. In that one, it was a grind out game on the ground, especially towards the end. Seaforth gets their 3rd win of the season, which is for the short history of the program. That's the most in a single season in program history. Just their 2nd season of varsity. So, shout out to Coach Gary. He's making progress with that program. He started from the bottom back in 2021 when they were just playing the JV schedule. So now he's seeing some progress, even if it's small. Baby steps is getting there. So that's what we had going on in football for Chatham County.
All right, so we had all 4 teams playing, but there were only 2 games because each it was all the Chatham County playing against each other. Coming up, as you mentioned, Northwood is Northwood has the bye week, but what's the schedule coming up for tomorrow evening?
Yeah, so we'll have Jordan Matthews at Graham. And I know me and you were talking about this. We really think Jordan Matthews will have a good chance of winning that one, getting their 2nd win of the season. Chatham Central is going to Northmore. It's going to be another tough one for Chatham Central. As Northmore, they've been rolling the past couple of weeks. They got a big win over Cummings on Monday to really shake some things up in the Mid-Carolina 1A, 2A conference for the football season. And then Seaforth will be hosting Bartley Yancey on Friday. I will be at that one. Gene, you'll be there too, right?
Yeah, I'll be out there too, and I just want to let folks know it's their first senior night ever, and they're gonna have fireworks. Well, they're gonna have pyrotechnics to kick that off. The gentleman who's actually from Chatham County who does the fireworks for the Duke football games entry is going to be out there. So come in early, get a seat there. What's your feeling as to how this game's going to go?
Yeah, C4's definitely been getting better over the past couple of weeks, especially with Duffy Palmer. He's getting more comfortable starting at quarterback for them at the end of the season. I think they'll be competitive in this one. I still think probably NC might have a slight advantage. They've looked like a better team throughout the season. So we'll see. I think C4, like I said, can hang in there and be competitive. But yeah, I do imagine Bartley NC might come out on top in this one.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit about, since we're season, we got one more week left to go this Friday, as to who's going to get into the playoffs out of the Mid-Carolina Football Conference. You and I just briefly touched base on this before we started. You're feeling that Northwood and Seaforth are going to make it in, or is it just Northwood?
Oh, for football, yes. Just Northwood. Just looking at Northwood here, looking at the RPI, and I can pull it up right quick. I think everyone else is sitting just outside of the standings for RPI and getting into the playoff picture. Northwood, of course, they had a strong season, big turnaround from last year, and of course, I'm sure they want the Northmore game and the Cummins game back, especially Northmore, because now I feel like they're a better team. They're more healthy with all their players back. They could give Northmore a better game and possibly knock them off. So. Yeah, I'm looking at Northwood as the only team from Chatham County that should be in consideration for the playoffs coming up next week.
Yeah, they're 6-2 in the conference. Everyone else, the Southeast Alamance, Northmore, and Cummings, are 6-1. I would have to definitely agree with you, as you say. Northwood's also not only gotten stronger, but they make a whole lot less mistakes than they did, which is typical of first few games. So yeah, I think if they had those opportunities, they would take them back. Jordan Matthews, I'm seeing as 6-1. Chatham Central as 0-7. Again, Jordan Matthews is playing Graham, so there's a potential that they'll be 2-6, but that's still way too low to make it into the playoffs. Anything else about football in Chatham County?
No, not as of right now. Now, stay tuned. I will have a pretty cool story coming up in the paper about 3 of our football coaches in Chatham County. I'm going to talk to them today at 1:30, so we'll see how that goes, and I'm sure you guys will be pretty excited and appreciative of what we got coming up with that. But yeah, that's all for football.
Yeah, I was going to say you've done a really nice job hooking up with the athletic directors at all the schools as well as the coaches, so they know who you are. And the other thing too is you don't spend a lot of time up in the press box. You're usually on the sidelines. And folks, let me see. I got to bring this one up. The caption as to Asheebo's. There you go. His Twitter account, Asheebo R38. His following has grown, and the thing is, he's just not texting stuff out. He's also putting out quick little videos and pictures, and usually he'll get an interview or two after the game. Because I know you and I were at the volleyball game, which is what we're going to lead into now, is the Woods Charter game the other night, and you got to talk to Coach Golf, and you did a quick video interview with her as well. So let us know word round. What have you seen? What do you think we can expect tonight? What's your overall feeling as to who has the best chance to move ahead from Chatham County?
Yeah, so we can start in 1A. I think 1A, the only team from Chatham County left is Woods Charter. They look really good at the game. What was it? Tuesday night over Vance Charter, 3-0. I know that they had one set that was just a little competitive. Had some mistakes there, just handling the ball, but for the most part, they were pretty much dominant the whole game. 2 out of 3 sets were decided by a large margin. So I think they're on a roll now. We're getting to the point. Last year they had a 3rd round exit, and so this is where they didn't get the job done last year. So with the team that's came back, hopefully they've learned from last year and are more prepared for this round, going into tougher competition that's outside of their conference as well. That was a big question, is just how they would do against some of the other good 1A teams in the state. And so I think they'll really get a test tonight, actually, when they play Roxborough Community. And they have to go to Roxborough Community this time. This will be their first game in the playoffs away. So we'll see how they handle that test tonight.
Yeah, you asked Coach Golf about her philosophy and when you talked to her on Tuesday night, they didn't still know who they were going to play because had the other team beat Roxborough Community, they would be playing at home, but they're going away, and Roxborough Community's beat them twice this season. So do you remember what the coach says as to how they're going to prep for it? Because they actually did play very well on Tuesday.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it is just keeping it, keeping it focused and letting them know that, hey, this is tougher competition. They're gonna come out with some. I know Coach Golf was talking about some different strategies and things she's gonna come up with, to get them better prepared for that game. Like you said, they've lost them twice, so this is a familiar opponent. And at that point, I think when we were talking to Coach Golf, she didn't know yet that they were playing Roxborough. So I didn't get to talk to her after she knew that they were playing Roxborough. But I think she'll have them prepared. They look like, like I said, they're on a roll. They're focused. They got some good momentum going their way. And against a team that they've seen twice this year, this time around, it could be different. You never know. So.
All right, let's touch on Seaforth. You and I quickly we mentioned them on Tuesday. What's your feeling as to Seaforth and their chance to get to the championship game?
Seaforth, I think they have a really good chance of getting to the 2A championship game. Tonight they are playing Mateo, 14 seed. Manio, 14 seed, and I think I think they have a really good core with Allie Forbes, Kira Rosenmarkle, Maris Honeycutt there as outside setter, setting up for those two to really attack the ball in the air. That's what they're really good at. Really powerful hitters that can make it hard for you to return the ball back over the net. So I think they have a really good chance to make a run at state here. Really good team. They have some experience. I know Allie's a freshman, but Kira was a sophomore. She's been here before. And Maris, a junior, has been here before. So I think they'll definitely have a great chance of making it.
What's your feeling? Because they've been winning these 3-0. You think this is going to be another 3-0 game, or is this going to go maybe 3-1, 3-2?
I can see it being another 3-0 game. Maybe some closer sets. So they might get challenged a little bit in the sets here as they get into the third, fourth round with some greater competition. But I still think, they're capable of turning it on and going straight 3-0 through a team. So we'll see.
All right, and then let's talk about the surprise team. I think if we had asked Northwood's coach at the beginning of they went up against number 4 and they won, and they played last Tuesday, and they won that game, and they're playing in the third round. What can you tell people about Northwood? Because I don't know, would you call them the Cinderella team? They're definitely a surprise. I'll be honest. I didn't think they would get this far. And I know the moms are going to hate me for saying that, but that's just the way I felt.
No, definitely a Cinderella team. Because they didn't finish the season like how they liked at the end of the regular season and in the end of the conference championship, but they still, were a low seed and got into the playoffs. Rising up to the occasion and playing some of their best volleyball at the right time. Not sure how long they can keep it going. Like you said, I haven't seen them play, in the playoffs in person yet. Haven't got to see them because they've been on the road every game. So this time they're going to Midway, a 5 seed who has only lost one set on the way to the third round here, winning 3-0 in the first round and 3-1 in the second round. Northwood had to really climb back and exert a lot of energy in that last game, coming down 2-0. So I think Northwood, they'll be competitive in this game just because of the playoffs. They're going to play hard. They're going to give it all they got. But with the Cinderella runners, it's hard. I can't, just count them out because they have been playing really well in the playoffs. So I think they'll really compete and make it interesting tonight when they play Midway. Yeah,
they're definitely playing at a high level. And the nice thing, if you ever watch them playing, I mean, you and I have seen this. They enjoy. They're having fun out there, which is good. And I appreciate watching them. So, girls, I hope it goes well for you tonight. All right, let's get into what have you got that came out in the paper yesterday in the Chatham News and Record.
Yeah, so a little different with the roundups this time because we got some playoffs and some regular season still ending. So we put football and soccer together from last week. Just some of the results and stats from those games. Just a rundown of last week. On the soccer side, Seaford, they split 2 overtime games during the week. They beat Northmore and lost to Southeast Alamance, 2 of the top teams in the conference. But they broke their 7-game winning streak, but they've been impressive down the stretch at the end of the season and getting into the playoffs as like a strong playoff team from what it looks like. Northwood had another tough week. They lost to Graham in double overtime, and they tied with Cummings. And Jordan Matthews, of course, still rolling. Picked up their second 9-0 win in a row over Bartley Yancey last week. I think that was their only game. And in that game, 8 different Jets scored a goal. And Francisco Ibarra scored 2. So they're just playing like they usually do, just rolling, aggressive, high scoring, and also, preventing you from scoring on the other end. So continued dominance from Jordan Matthews. Chatham Charter and Woods Charter, starting the season, they was a little rough, especially for Chatham Charter, but both teams actually, put themselves in a position to make the playoffs coming down here at the final stretch. Chatham Charter picked up 2 wins for the first time this season in a row, 2 straight wins in a row for the first time, beating Clever Garden 4-3 and Southern Wake 7-3. And then Woods Charter, they won 3 straight games last week to push their winning streak to 4. They beat Ascend Leadership, Triangle Math and Science, and Clever Garden School. So those teams are really pushing themselves and putting themselves in position to possibly make some noise in the playoffs, which we didn't expect, doing this show all season early on, but they've come on strong as of late.
Yeah, I know when you and I talked about soccer just a month ago, both those teams were down towards the bottom of the ranking, and now they're kind of in the middle of the pack. We are going to talk, folks, about high school soccer because, as Asheebo mentioned, that week is ending up this week, and they're going to get into the playoffs. We'll talk. Asheebo will give us his rundown on what he's thinking is going to happen there. But before we get that, who's your athlete of the week?
Yeah, and also right before athlete of the week, just other things in the paper as well. Seaforth, Jordan Matthews football gamer from last week, and then we'll have we had a little write up on the cross country conference championship, also a soccer playoff preview, and things like that in the paper. So make sure to grab a copy for this week. But yeah, athlete of the week, and he's in there as well. We gave it to Gus Ritchie this week. He had a big game against Chatham Central. In their win, he caught 5 passes for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. And on the defensive side, he recorded 6 tackles and 2 tackles for loss. And just, a little season stat for Ritchie. He's leading the conference and receiving yards to 765. And he's tied with his teammate Isaiah Blair for the most receiving touchdowns in the conference with 9 of those. So he's having a great season, and he had to put a big exclamation mark on his junior season and the regular season finale against Chatham Central last week. So congrats to Gus Ritchie, and we'll look forward to see what him and Northwood can do in the playoffs coming up soon here.
Yeah, I know that several weeks ago when they were playing Cummings, Coach Dorn was out there from NC State watching both the recruits, and I know the NC State fans are glad to have Gus come in and play for them. All right, soccer, you've been following that closely. Give us a rundown as to how you see this finishing up both in 2A, 1A, and I think you're saying Jordan Matthews, like Seaforth in volleyball, Jordan Matthews, you feel is a strong possibility to get to the championship game. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so and this is also in the paper. I did a soccer player preview based off the RPI standings from Tuesday morning after Monday's games. So yeah, from if the season ended to that day, this kind of be projected seeds for where everyone will land. Jordan Matthews, I had them landing at a projected 3 seed. I know a few of the teams ahead of them are RPI aren't conference champions. Jordan Matthews is after finishing the conference strong this week with 2 wins. And so I see them going in as a 3 seed. Pretty high. West has 5, which is where their RPI is right now. And then for Seaforth, they're kind of in the middle of the pack, around an 18 seed there. for them in the 2A tournament. They're currently, as of Tuesday, they were 4th place in the Mid-Carolina 1A, 2A conference. Northwood right behind them in 5th place in the conference. I got them a little lower towards like a 24 seed based off their RPR rankings. And then getting into 1A, we got Woods Charter and Chatham Charter. Woods Charter, 3rd place in their conference. Central Tar Heel 1A. Got them around a 21 seed for the projected playoff bracket. And then for Chatham Charter, 4th place in their conference, right behind Woods Charter. Got them around a 27 seed. So those two teams kind of in the middle of the pack towards the bottom of the playoff picture so far. And then for 2A, 3 teams should get in there. So every Chatham County team that's participating in men's soccer should have a run here in the playoffs coming up soon.
Yeah, it's interesting. You had mentioned how those couple of those teams have moved up, and yeah, they definitely started playing better toward the end of the season. That makes a big difference to getting you into the playoffs. All right, let's see what else we need to wrap up. I think we're getting close to wrapping it up. Oh, yeah, we've got the high school cross-country regionals coming up, and then if you got anything on tennis and golf. So let's talk cross-country regionals. Those are coming up, this Saturday? Isn't that correct?
Yes, it's Saturday at Wake Med location. And, yeah, for C4, obviously they're probably they're most definitely the strongest team in the county. In the county for cross country. They're really expecting to do well here, not just at regionals, but for the state playoffs. Looking to, maybe a first place state champion, the second place at worst for them. So really, really excited to see how they do when the state races come around. But for the regionals, plenty of Chatham County runners have qualified. Woods Charter, they're sending Dylan Villanueva, Holton Modi, Ben Valentine, Charlie Murphy, Wyatt Webster, and Cohen Fig for the boys' side. And for the girls, Ellie Poitras, Anna Peeler, Sienna Gray, Michaela Valentine, Grace Murphy, Dara Sudhir, and Dana Sudhir. Chatham Charter also sending a whole bunch of boys: Adam Reese, Taurus Price, Julian Todero, Andrew Bednar, Eli Coleman, Isaac Hayhurst, Samuel Stanifer, and then for the girls, Samantha Scott, Meredith Reese. C4, big names to watch here for the regionals and states: Jack Anstrom and Will Quickie. Henry McFall also had a great race in the conference championship too. London Crowling, Andrew Parker, Thaddeus Hudek, and Kenny Thompson for the boys from C4. And for the girls, Hawks, got Catherine Leonard, who also had a great race at the conference championships. Wanda Jimenez, Emily Jump, Claire Morgan, Cadence Bazemore, Sasha Helmer, and Natalia Davis. And then for Northwood, they're sending their boys: Jordan Wiley, Joe Flynn, Jack Backler, Jesse Sykes, Brian Krebs, Easton Evans, Owen Zupin, and girls: Sydney Gray, Julia Hall, JC Martinez, Marissa Clouds, Andrea Angeles Morales, Ashley Perry, and Rose Costa. And then last but not least, Jordan Matthews. They also had a pretty decent showing at the conference championships, and we're seeing quite a few runners to regionals for the boys. Christian Garcia Torres, who I think finished first for them at the conference championship in the boys race. Aiden Hernandez, Aiden Lesath, Will Koikendall, Aiden Terwilliger, Eric Ortiz, Giovanni Benitez. And then for the girls, Nyla Miller, Sophia Corpella, Ari Day Ibarra, and Sarah Preciado are the runners representing Chatham County there in regional. So plenty of Chatham County runners will be participating. Excited to see which ones will make states and represent the county when it comes to winning the state championship.
Yeah, the other thing that happened this past weekend when they had the Mid Carolina conference championship is you had the two head coaches that coach of the years. The C4 women's coach was the coach of the year on the women's side, and on the men's side, the Northwood coach Cameron Eisenhower was coach of the year. So congratulations to them. And folks, as you could hear from what Asheebo was running through, Chatham County is looking strong in the track and field department. So I expect, as Asheebo said, there may be some first place finishers coming in to that regional championship from Chatham County. Golf and tennis. I think tennis kind of wrapped up this week, didn't they?
Yes, so golf also another one of our sports in the playoffs, and tennis as well. So for tennis, it's dual team brackets and individuals are going on as well too. So in tennis, we got. Let me look at the brackets. I had them pulled up because it's a lot going on. Dual team. Here we go. Yeah. All right. 1A. So yeah, 1A. Chatham Charter won over Chatham Central last night in a Chatham County matchup in the playoffs. They beat them 5-4, just barely. So they'll be playing triangle math and science. I think that is on the 30th, which is Monday, right? Next Monday.
Yeah.
In the 1A bracket. So they're the only Chatham Charter is the only team left in Chatham County, still going strong on the 1A side. On the 2A side, we got Seaforth holding strong for Chatham County in the dual tennis tournament. They won over Holmes yesterday and will play against NCSSM Durham on Monday. And I think they'll be hosting NCSSM. They're the higher seed. And also Chatham Charter will be going to Triangle Math and Science. They're the lower seed in that one. So that's for dual. Now individual, we got some individual tennis players making the predetermined draw for the state singles. It looks like here Evelyn Atkins from Seaforth made it in. Also Ryan Tenervin from Northwood, they're in the 2A side. And yeah, that's who will be representing Chatham County on the 2A side. And on the 1A side for the individual, we have Elfie Spillman from Chatham Charter, Mac Allen from Chatham Charter, and yeah, those two would be representing Chatham County on the 1A side for the women's individual tennis state championship. So I think those are I'm not exactly sure when those will be happening. I think it's pretty soon. Actually tomorrow, I think. Is that when the singles will be played for states?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I saw where you did mention that Chatham Charter beat Chatham Central. And they did that yesterday. So yeah, I believe you're correct. And again, folks, you can look that kind of stuff up at Max Preps. We got a lot to cover. We're actually getting close to wrapping this up because I want to get this done in 30 minutes. Anything on the golf situation?
Yeah, in golf. So last week we had 3 Chatham County golfers qualify for state championships. Mackenzie Crossman of Chatham Charter, she actually won the 1A Eastern Regional Championship with a score of 75. And then Teddy Taylor and Paige Apolito from Woods Charter, they qualified in the same regional. From the same regional. Teddy came in 5th. Yeah, Teddy came in 5th with a score of 85, and Paige came in 14th with a score of 97. And those state championships will start on Monday for women's golf. Yeah. So Chatham County has pretty much state contenders everywhere for every sport this fall. So we'll see.
All right. So. Big thing coming up for you in a couple of weeks, folks. You definitely have to pick up the News and Record in a couple of weeks because Asheebo, you're doing the big basketball preview. But did you just see it came out this morning? I see there was a press release from Capital City Classic, and people may be thinking that's in Raleigh, but that's actually in Salem, Oregon. And one of the teams that's going out there is Northwood. So they've been invited to that. And it looks like they are going to be going to that. So I guess we'll have more information available on that. But it looks like it's going to be an exciting basketball season here in Chatham County, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Northwood got a lot of great players on their team. I was talking to Coach Bernie. He thinks they're thinking that this might be the year for them to finally get it done. And yeah, to be sent to Oregon to play against some of the top teams in the country, some of the best prospects, coming in with probably the biggest prospect in that whole tournament with Drake Powell, that's really big for Chatham County and big for Northwood High School. So really excited to see, how all the other teams, Jordan Matthews, C4, especially post Jaron Stevenson and Coach Stevenson, how they'll shake up this year for another competitive season for basketball here.
Yeah. As I mentioned, Asheebo will have that special News and Record preview. Also, we're trying to see if we can't do an hour-long basketball live stream as well. Haven't got that all worked out, but we'll let you know, folks, about that. Let's wrap it up with our usual Asheebo. Where are you going to be the next several days out there?
Yeah, so I'm at Seaforth tonight for volleyball, and then I'll be at Seaforth again Friday night for football to see, the first ever senior night and the festivities they'll have out there for their game. And then, next week we'll play it by ear. We'll see. Definitely Northwood, wherever Northwood's going to be at for the first round of the playoffs, I'll be there next Friday. So, yeah, I'll be around. It's playoff and state championship season, so I might not even be in Chatham County. I might be going somewhere, a neutral site, to see Chatham County athlete compete for a state championship. So just playing it by ear.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up here. Also, thanks for following Asheebo on Twitter. This live stream goes out on both Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And I've noticed that we're edging up more on Facebook, but we're also picking up people that are watching us on Twitter. So appreciate it. And again, remember to watch Asheebo on Twitter. We're going to wrap that up for this week. Hopefully we will see you again for next week. And that's it. So we're going to sign off. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Let your friends and family members know about this. All right. Thank you, Asheebo.